So the West Indian captain Clive Lloyd, very much I suppose in the autumn of his days at 34 years old, a very proud captain, and this evening hoisted aloft the Prudential World Cup for the second time. Well, there's no doubt about it, the first man he'll buy a drink for tonight will be Viv Richards, the batsman who anchored the whole West Indian effort today in tandem with Hollis King. And Viv Richards it was who received the Man of the Match award in this Prudential World Cup final. So the 1979 World Cup ends. It's been a great success. Big crowds have seen fine cricket, and the competition an undoubted success yet again.
The first day of the fourth Cornhill Test match at Headingley. Welcome to the highlights. An England team changed from the disasters of Old Trafford and the earlier matches. A new skipper, new players inside, but problems for the umpires when heavy overnight rain dampened the outfield and delayed the start. Before that, the two skippers had tossed and had named their teams. England left out John Childs. That's their nominated 11 on the left, with Derek Pringle scheduled to go in at 9. Neil Foster at 10 and Graham Dilley at 11. And the West Indies unfortunately had Gordon Greenidge unfit. Keith Arthurton has gone into the side there. He may open with Desmond Haynes, or it may be Geoffrey Dujon. Haynes is back in after a thigh injury, and it is a very strong West Indian side once again. Those bowlers at the bottom there, Walsh, Benjamin, Ambrose and Marshall, will pose many problems for the New England players. Gooch and Curtis scheduled to open the innings. Well, Vivian Richards, having won the toss, put England into bat. Play couldn't get underway until 11:50. The umpires decided that the outfield and the surrounds were a little too saturated to play before that time, and it stopped at 12:05. And that was when the West Indians pointed out that some surface water had come up where Curtly Ambrose was running in from the football ground end. Now, there was all sorts of activity then, with captains and umpires waving their arms and pointing, warthogs running around. And it looks just a little bit like the Keystone Cops. I'd never seen anything like it before, a game called off in that manner. And then umpire Harold Bird came off the field to explain exactly what had happened.
I can't help it if it's a burst pipe what's coming up, can I? Burst pipe, there's water coming up. Not my fault, that.
Well, in fact, that wasn't the case, and the Secretary of the Yorkshire County Cricket Club, Joe Lister, made it quite clear in a prepared statement later on that there were no blocked pipes at all. He said the Yorkshire County Cricket Club wished to make it absolutely clear that in spite of rumours to the contrary, no drains have been blocked and all are functioning perfectly normally. It's a great disappointment of the county, and he went on to say what the disappointment was, that the spectators had been deprived of so much play because of what was an accident. Well, play eventually got underway at 2:30. 2:30, mind you, all that finagling around there took them until that time to get started again. There was another single added, that was a leg by, and we join play now at 3 for no wicket. Graham Gooch is taking strike. Curtly Ambrose, once again, is the bowler.
Well, that flew away. Quite astonishing that, Ted. It was just a thick inside edge, but Graham Gooch is off the mark.
Yes, by no means a full house here at Headingley. Perhaps a third full, perhaps growing a little now. People, perhaps they popped out for lunch and then heard that the game was on again and just starting to move back in. So it's Ambrose to Curtis.
That was quick, and Curtis did very well to move inside the line there, watching the ball all the time.
That's the way, unless you're a Gary Sobers or a Viv Richards, playing against this sort of pace, you've got to be prepared to take a few knocks, take a few on the body, which Curtis did in the last over, first ball from Marshall, just let it hit him.
Great relief. Lovely feeling. First run in Test cricket notched by Tim Curtis.
Curtly Ambrose was the central figure in the delay early on, where AMD was having trouble keeping his footing 3 parts of the way through his run. Maybe not much of a footing down there at deep fine leg for Marshall, but he didn't really put in the big ones on the way round. Brilliantly fielded, because Gooch was aiming away on the offside. And the ball came off the inside edge, and still Logie at short leg was able to make a definite move towards it.
Yes, first really aggressive stroke from Gooch, aiming away on the offside. The ball must have swung into him, I think. No, it just was just played outside it, got an inside edge. Well fielded.
Even the damp outfield and stop that reaching the boundary.
Well, a repeat here, very much the same ball, and this time Graham Gooch getting the outside edge. Willing to attack quite early in the piece. Got a couple of balls up to him and gone for the drive both times.
Oh, that's well bowled. That was a terrific ball from Marshall. Late swing, and then I suspect on the replay it'll show it just continued on a fraction as well when it pitched on the seam. Gooch is gone. 14 for 1, England.
Yeah, Graham Gooch got in a position, he got there rather early, and he was then rather sort of searching for the ball, it seemed to me. But it was a perfectly pitched, quick ball which moved a little, just enough to get the outside edge. Now he has been getting wickets every 26 balls, Marshall, in this series. Wendy Wimbush had already noticed that he'd gone 26 without a wicket, but he got one with his 27th.
First blood to the West Indies. They put England in this morning after Richards won the toss. Bill Athey is the new batsman. 14 for 1.
Now, Malcolm Marshall didn't run in with that delivery with anything like the zest he has done before. Just seemed a lollipop in, and the previous delivery he'd bowled a slower one. Has he got a problem? Eight overs he's had for just 8 runs.
It's probably your wicket, that over, and Jack probably disappointed.
Well, different people have different objects in life, and at that age, who cares who's batting? Walsh to Athey. Well, that's the First really authentic stroke from Galathi, and a good one too. Well, that was short and just sat up, and I think that indicates the pace of the pitch, because the first boundary for Tim Curtis wasn't banged in all that short.
Yeah, cracking good shot, this.
We've got Winston Benjamin, and replaced Kirkley Ambrose.
Yes, and the batsman was actually on his way. Benjamin has struck a quicker ball. Curtis has gone. I just had the feeling that Curtis had taken half a step towards the pavilion.
Well, I think it was the earlier balls and the repositioning of the field that really did Curtis there, because that was really actually a nice sort of half volley about middle and leg, well up to him, and he just played round it. He played so well, but by no means a bad start in Test cricket. He survived for 94 minutes. Runs weren't the important thing, but he certainly did at least half the job he was put to do.
100 Test matches. And who's playing his first Test has left the arena. Here is the man taking part in his 100th.
So angled in, he might have got away with it, might have just slid down leg side, but it was so well up to him. And he himself, and if you see where the wicketkeeper is, he hasn't gone down leg side very much, and the batsman really half expecting to be given.
.43 for 2. Beautifully caught. No ball called. Excellent fielding, and probably the ball just about where Courtney Walsh wanted it. He has a fender with no balling on earlier occasions this innings.
Well, I was just saying that Courtney Walsh had taken a couple of overs to settle down with that no bowling from coming down the hill at that top end, and again he gets the no ball.
Beautiful stroke.
And the pitch just that little bit slower, which just allows David Gower to get that ball into the covers. That's a similar shot that he's been getting out to caught in the slips. But on this occasion, because of the pace of the wicket, he just had enough time to punch it away square on the offside. Certainly when it goes four like that, it looks a beautiful shot.
And that's the spot I reckon he was asking him to bowl. And that'll be why Richards is rushing towards Benjamin to say, well done. Precisely the spot just before the tea interval. The players go from the field now. David Gower unwillingly at the head of them, because he's the third wicket to go down.
Well, it was the usual shot that Gower gets out to. And just that little bit of extra bounce that does him. If it comes through at right height, then he's all right. But if anything just happens a little bit different, just that little bit of extra bounce, and the problem is got. The bat's not straight, it's just at an angle, And that's the usual result. Caught behind or caught in the slips.
It'll be Alan Lamb to face to complete this over of Benjamin, which has 3 balls left. And the England innings yet again in the balance. 58 for 3. No appeal from the bowler.
And Benjamin right smack on target again, but no shout there, probably just going down the leg side. Alan Lamb, of course, is at the wicket now. David Gower was out halfway through that last over before tea.
Well, no messing about for Lamb. Short and wide, and full treatment. That's the way he plays.
Well, Lamb has been in pretty good form between the test matches. Got a very quick 100 and straight away crashing square cut there. Slightly top edge, but if you're playing it with a cross bat like that, that's pretty safe. You're unlucky if it goes to anybody but the keeper. That's got to be a very fine edge. Anything thicker would fly over the top of the slips.
Beautifully bowled. Now there's movement there. Walsh finding that dangerous area just outside off stump.
Yes, you could see that ball again there, really cutting away. That was angled in and then really straightened up off the pitch.
Oh, and there's a lovely shot. Slower ball, which Lamb picked immediately. Even on this slow outfield, the slope takes it away comfortably for 4. Wide of the crease. Oh, and Lamb picking it off beautifully. Ambrose won't get that.
Benjamin going wide of the crease there and angling the ball in, but Lamb was up to that. He saw that and then picked the length and drove it past mid-on, and even Ambrose with legs as long as his couldn't catch it down that famous Headingley hill.
Oh, well bowled. No ball called. But that was just about one of the best deliveries of the day.
Perfect length, and that really cutting away from Athey again. And all of the waste if you can't get that front foot part of it behind that poppy crease.
Well, anybody who wants to know the score, 20 pleas worth from him. Good running from Lamb. Nearly forced the error. Spotted it quickly and the call was made and accepted.
Yes, if there'd been any hesitation here, Alan Lamb immediately taking up the call. Logie very, very quick indeed, and actually just taking a bail off there.
Oh, just dropping in front of Harper.
Oh, the ball just cutting away again there, and genuine edge, and just on the half volley, and certainly don't want to give that man a half chance there. Roger Harper at slip.
Curtly Ambrose now coming to replace Benjamin, and Benjamin's excellent spell, 9 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 27. Appeal, but he threw well forward and the ball seeming to clip the pad on its way through and not the bat. Umpire Bird, that's his view.
Yes, it certainly squeezes through the gap there, but it did seem to be very much pad and not bat. In those circumstances you always appeal, just and hope it might have caught both.
And that's close, and that's out. Caught on the back foot, has been getting forward, didn't do this time, the ball nipping back. It's the end of Galathi. LBW to Kirtley Ambrose. And again, England pegged back just when it looked as though some sort of stand was developing. He's gone for 16, and England now 80 for 4. Yes, you see Athey moving across, then starting to go forward. Ball just nipping back, got nothing outside the line at all. That was always going to be close. So, the England innings back in the melting pot again. Robin Smith. Three new batting choices in England's first 7. One of 2 new caps. Well, there's a good shot there from Lamb. Prepared to go for them when it's up. Another 4 to him.
Well, it didn't quite come off this shot. He's hit it on the up. It's a bit of a miscue. It was in the air, just missed the cover field. It's in the air. You see his right hand's right off the bat, but he got away with it.
Players in this match, of whom it can be said it'll be a great relief to get off the mark. And them's just managed that. I don't think we need look any further for the stroke of the day.
Yes, and that's on the up. He's just stood up, swung the bat. Perhaps just as well it didn't move that ball, but he's just middled it a treat. Just watch the wicket-keeper, a lovely bit of wicket-keeping here, so light on his feet. He's nipped across there. Taking it very easily.
It's a fierce stroke. That gives Smith a lot of confidence.
Pedigree square cut here, bat right up over the right shoulder, full swing. Bang.
Up for England for the loss of 4 wickets. Came up with the leg by. .242 balls, second 50 from 99.
Malcolm Marshall not being used since that opening spell of 8 overs. Again, very inexpensive. Just 1 for 8 of 8.
Once again, the flashing square cut, this time by Alan Lamb. In the previous over of Walsh, it was Robin Smith.
Marshall just a little slow, a little short, and Lamb doing the rest. It does seem to take Malcolm Marshall a couple of overs to warm up these days. He bowls very gently through the first over or so, then suddenly puts a couple of yards on his pace.
Curtly Ambrose. The eyes out of that one.
Well, yes, we've talked about the shot of the day, but I think that might just get the vote. That was really on the up. Nowhere near a half volley, even short. He just really went through it there, Alan Lamb, and crashed it away through extra cover like a bomb.
That was a good stroke. I like the look of that. He's trying to get forward all the time, Robin Smith, and he got himself well over that.
Well, a really spectacular shot there, and actually the back leg, the knee was actually on the floor there, just didn't make contact. Exceptionally low down. The ball really sped away just behind square on the offside.
And there's another glorious square cut, and that was only 10 yards in front of third man, but really got no chance. Magnificent stroke.
Well, this is that power we were talking about. Bit of width there by Marshall, and really cracked that one away again. There's certainly one thing, if he gets an edge, it'll carry to slip at a fair rate of knots, so there's always a chance of getting away with something if he edges one.
It's a bit of slow motion cricket, I think. That single brought up the 50 stand and only off 80 deliveries. Marshall bowling to Smith. Well, he hit over that one.
It's rather sort of front foot slash, this one. Not quite the authentic square cut.
They're probably discussing the light, and it certainly has got dark. Umpires are now having a consultation, and it has deteriorated markedly in the last 10 minutes. If it's offered, I don't think there's much doubt as to what they'll do. And boos from the crowd, who safely seated 100 yards away. Fast bowling is all right to face in any conditions.
It certainly was an excellent innings from Robin Smith, 23 not out in his first Test match. And Alan Lamb, 45, I thought played quite beautifully in most positive fashion. It was a very, very good effort from him. The four men out, Gooch, Curtis, Athey and Gower, were the victims of excellent bowling. Still to come, Cowdery, Richards, Pringle, Foster and Dilley. Not a bad batting line-up there. They may need them all by the time those bowlers get up against them. Marshall 1 for 29. I thought only bowled about three-quarter pace today. Ambrose was impressive, and so too Benjamin. 2 for 27, 9 overs and 2 maidens. And Courtney Walsh, once again, was unlucky. He's had 42 taken from 12 overs, but I thought he bowled some of the best deliveries of the day, moving the ball into the right-handers and away off the seam. Bowled some genuine leg cutters out there, particularly the leg cutter, which he had working well.